me tell you something. She handled it. I guess she handled it her way. I don't know, Joyce. I don't know. It couldn't have been me. If you come back and say, give me back my money, here go your money. Go. You still ain't got what you believing for. You still ain't got what you believing for. I think sometimes when we do preach or teach words such as that, and we talk about sowing or seeds and stuff, we don't talk about how long we do, but the people don't hear that part. How long it took for us to get there, to get to where we are, to where the manifestation started, and how much confession, and how much we had to confess the word, and how much we had to believe the word, and going through the season of doubting, going through the season of whatever, and all the pretending, all that had to die. And now you had to, okay, well, it ain't happened. Now, the real, you got to come clean. This stuff ain't came to pass yet, and you got to deal with all this. So I think, people hear what they want to hear. Well, I hear she said you can get this if you do this. I found this to be true even when it comes down to the Lord. When the enemy begins to tell you lies about what you believe in God for, then that means your breakthrough is right at the door. And not just at the door, but you can't change what you are confessing now because you're in it. And he wants you to change. The enemy, he's pressing you because there is that. And I believe God allows it because you've been speaking this thing for so long. And I believe God allowed it to be so just to see if you're going to change. One of the things that I found in that same chapter, she was in St. John, chapter 6, it tells you that even when it comes down to Jesus, I think I've got it written down something. St. John 6, 25 or 35, I think that's it. I think we've discovered that it doesn't matter how much you have heard and how much words you've heard. If you don't get a foundation as to who he is, establish that, and get in a relationship with him, when these times come, you're going to doubt. You're going to doubt. Now, the word is able to do because the word is Christ. Christ is the word. But if you don't know him as the word or don't know him, when you do get in the situation where you are believing God for something that you say is impossible, but it's not impossible with God, or it's not impossible for God, you're going to start doubting. And it's easy to happen. I mean, just easy to. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life, and he that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Okay. Next verse. Let me see what the next verse is. Might need to start from 25, but then tell me what the next verse is. 36. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, well, 25. 25. Start at 25. Same chapter. Same book. I'm saying 25. I'm in the wrong chapter, but I'm saying 25. Yeah, there we go. And when they found him on the
And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when camest thou hither?
Go ahead.
And Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me, not because you saw the miracles, but because you did not eat of the loaves and were filled.
Go ahead.
Because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for the meat that which endureth unto the everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you, for him that hath God the Father sealed.
Go to 29. This is the, go ahead. Jesus' answer. Okay. They asked the question. They said, what shall we do that we may work the works of God? Jesus answered 29. Go ahead.
As Jesus answered and said unto them, This is the work of God, that ye believe on him who he hath sent.
Now he said, this is the work of God. It's a work to believe him. Wow. He said, this is the work of God, that you believe on him who God has sent. It's a challenge to believe that he is who he say he is. Listen, anytime someone makes a statement that said, this is the work of God, that you believe on the one that the Father has sent. If you make that statement, it is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. You want to do the work? This is the first thing. You got to first believe on the one who he sent. If you're struggling to believe and believing on the one who he sent, you can do some work. Remember, many going to come in that day saying, God is, he's really doing some great things in this season that we are in. One of the things that I've discovered with us is we're struggling with denying ourselves. And when you struggle with denying yourself, you're going to have problems. You cannot struggle with denying yourself. You're going to have challenges. If you struggle with denying yourself, you're going to have problems, serious problems. When you want everything is not going to go your way. That's life. That's life. If everything went my way in life, it would make things easier, but it would be things that I want, that I feel, that would make my life easier. But it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. Let me give you the example of certain things. It doesn't happen like that in building a house. When one set out to build a house, you have plans. Well, according to the plans, it happens like that. But to put the plan into reality, it's a challenge. Now you realize you got boards that come that are too long. Now you have to modify. You got board that comes that are not straight. Now you have to kind of know what to do, nail this in, nail someplace else, and kind of pull the board and nail to try to straighten that out as much as possible. It's not going to come the way you expect it to come. That's life. Life is the same way. It comes in such a way that it is challenges. It's not going to come the way you think it's going to come. Even with people, it's not going to come the way you think they're going to come. God sends people into your life. They're not going to come the way you think they're going to come. There'll be in that person what you believe God for. But because of everything else, it hides whatever God has placed in the individual. It isn't that God isn't going to do what he said he's going to do, but he sends it in packages. He sends it in a way that you may overlook it and think it's not God. And it happens. It'll happen to the best of us. Because it doesn't come in the package you think it's going to come in. You didn't came to God, but he knew what you were. He knew what he placed in you. You didn't came when you were perfect. According to what I've heard, you're still scribing. But he accepts you. So just because a gift is not wrapped in a color you like, doesn't mean it's not a gift. Being honest. This is a fact. Just because it's not wrapped in the color that you would like, doesn't mean it's not a gift. There's a lot of things that happen. But if you can deny yourself, you can see some things that God sees. Ourselves, we blind ourselves to the things that God wants to show us. Because we only see what we see. And it hurts us. It hurt us in life. It hurt us in our walk with God. It hurt us in everything. Because we don't see ourselves. Even when it comes down to God, you don't see yourself as the individual who God said you are. No matter how many times Jesus tells you, you belong to me. Because you follow me, I'll give you power and authority. You struggle with it. Because you're struggling with self-identity. You're trying to identify with the person that you're supposed to have left. And you're still trying to identify with that individual. And so with that individual don't know how to please God. You know how to please God because you're born again. But the individual that you're trying to identify with don't know how to please God. And that's our biggest struggle, is I'm trying to please God, but I'm trying to please him with my flesh. If you think about the word denial, denying, or deny self, deny self. Take up thy cross and deny yourself. Deny yourself and take up your cross and come follow. You never see who he is until you deny yourself. Peter thought he was there until he found himself denying Christ. Instead of denying himself, he denied Christ. But he thought he was there. He thought he was there. Peter thought he was there. And then he realized he was not there. See, everything in you, some things God would never tell you. Never tell you about what it is that's in you or what it is. He will never tell you. But he will allow it to manifest. Because sometimes seeing you for who you are is the best lesson or the best spoken word. When you can come to yourself and say, boy, this is me. This is me. We have children that are born in our circle, in our family. And we look at the children and we say, that child, they act just like me. But you don't think there's nothing wrong with you. Because you have glorified your ways for so long. But not knowing the same struggle you struggle with, that same child that's act just like you, possibility that child going to struggle with the same thing. with the same type of things. Now you probably say, oh, no, no, no. You say the child act just like you. He's given each one of us gifts. He's given each one of us power and authority. The young lady told me, she said, God told me to go to your church and learn. One thing I want you to understand, he didn't tell me to tell you. He told you. He gave me instruction. He told me, when you go, look and listen. Because I want to birth that I place in you. So this place is a birthing place. But there are times when you come to church, you don't see it as a birthing place because you're trying to go back to the old. And that's the war we are having in here. We are having a war where, no, I want it to be what I came out of. That's what I was used to. I want it to be, and God is saying, no, you have to embrace the new. The time that we're living in, people are calling for power and demonstration. And you're trying to go back into the singing. And whatever the people are standing around. They are walking back and forth. Spiritually, they are at the door. But they can't come in because you are in denial of who Christ is. I don't have that power. Yes, you do. If you are a follower, if you are a believer, we just help you to understand. This is the first thing. You have to believe on the one that the Father has sent. That's Jesus Christ. If you're a believer, you have the power. All you have to do is get around somebody who knows how to birth. Well, Apostle, you don't believe me because you fight me. You don't believe that I can operate in this thing. You fight me. Why use you if you fight me? If I come to you and say, listen, give me your hands. You fighting me. Why are you fighting me? You are no different than the little boy who teacher talked about, but his brother. See, the Bible didn't talk about the brother, but I'm adding the brother. One brother brought the loaves and fish. The other brother came just out of coming. And that's what we act like the brother who just want to look. This is what you have to understand with the loaves and fish. Yeah, I've said it was the lunch too. Teacher cleared it up. Said, that's a whole lot of food for a little boy's lunch, a child's lunch. But think about this. You don't know what God is going to use that you have in your possession. Notice this. He didn't use the little boy's feelings. He didn't use any of the attributes of the little boy's, his feeling, his smell, his taste. No, he used what the little boy had. So what do you have? The thing about a child, the Bible said, listen, you ain't going to enter the kingdom of heaven except you come as one of these little children. So he came with what was in him. Jesus said, I am the bread of life. The little boy had the bread. He had everything that it took to feed the people. When it talks about in the wilderness, during the Exodus and Deuteronomy experience, They wanted manna, which is meat. They wanted bread. The little boy had all that. He had bread, he had manna, he had meat. He had everything that it took to feed the multitude. He just didn't have a miracle. He needed God's supernatural on what he carried. See, he carried what he's carrying what the people need. You're carrying what the people need, but you need God's supernatural to multiply that you carry. You're carrying it. You have it. You haven't. Listen, I'm telling you. Well, you know, He's blessed me with the ability to be able to whatever. He's blessed me with the ability to be able. And God said, I'll multiply it. The Bible says your gift will bring you. The boy had his gift brought him before God. Because someone recognized what he had. It wasn't that Jesus, oh, there's a little boy here. No, it said the disciples. It said there's a child here, there's a boy here. So someone recognized what he had. When a person, not in every case, but most of the time, when a person want to marry you, they recognize what you have. The Bible said this, he that findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. So he recognizes, man, I'll get favor. Not everybody now. I'll get favor with this person. I'll get favor from the Lord with this person. Somebody recognize. And so what God does is he places us in the right place at the right time. I promise you this. I promise you this. All those people were there. I promise you this. You have to ask yourself this question. Why didn't he give an adult this meal? You see what I'm saying? Think about it. Why didn't he give it to an adult? You see? That's the thing you have to ask yourself. Why would he give it to? Why didn't he give it to? An adult could have did the same thing. But why you use the child? When you become an adult, it shouldn't be that way. But when you become an adult, you struggle with denial. And they probably would have struggled with giving it all. That's just like you right now in your tithe. You struggle with giving it all. And then you teach your children to struggle with giving it all. I didn't say all your check. I said all the tithe. See, you struggle with it because you become an adult. A child don't struggle with it. No problem here. And they pointed the child out. There's a child here that has, and they pointed the child out. The disciples pointed him out. That showed that you have an eye to recognize. They had to recognize. So it's so much here he's teaching. He's teaching them how to recognize. Just like he teach us how to recognize, how to see. You have to have an eye to see, or eyes to see. If not, you'll miss it. Somebody that you've been around had exactly what you need, or someone you've came in contact with had exactly what you need to multiply that God has given you. But you didn't recognize it. And when someone else recognized it and pointed it out to you, you denied it. It happens. See, we read the Bible, but we don't read the Bible. We read it just to get through and to say, I read. Someone comes along. You know, you have in you the ability. You said it best. You said, what was the thing you said you wanted to go into? Administration? Something? Yeah. Programming. See? Now, she wanted to do that. If you wanted to do that, it's probably in you. And you say you were good at it. It's in you. But she settled with something else. That's how we do it. When you settle for something else, remember this. What you settle for, sometime God will say, okay, if that's what you want. And he'll let it go. He'll approve of it. He'll let it go. If that's what you want, he'll let it go. But you need to stop and ask, well, why you say, if that's what I want? What if I ask for what you want? See, for what he wants may require a little bit more waiting. Because he'll tell you sometimes, if that's what you want. I'm telling you, that's what you want. But notice this now, he don't go into all the details. Later on, as you embark on this that you want, or protect on this that you want, when you go to him, then he starts telling you things about the thing that you chose. They're going to be challenges because you chose. And that thing is going to cause you to pray more. And it's going to take you through things that you probably want to give up. The bulk of your blessing would come through what he placed in you. But because you choose, you settle. That's how it works. That's how God works. He does that. You get the word? Let me share something with you. No, I ain't going to say that part. But anyway, yeah, you're right. You wouldn't have to work at it so hard before it starts working for you. Now, I didn't say go and quit your job. I got to clarify that. I didn't say go and quit your job. Because that ain't what I want to do anyway. And then tomorrow you go and I'm quitting. And you have not developed skills in that area. And now you even have a plan on what you're going to do. No plan on what you're going to do. Oh, yeah, no plan. Well, you said you didn't get the full understanding. You didn't get the full understanding. Okay, God, tell me what is in me that you place in me that I'm missing. Because in me, I identify in you. So if you can tell me what I'm good at. Some people need that. Tell me what I'm good at. Tell me what I'll be successful at. One guy said God told him to quit a 6-figure job. And God said, I got a job for you. Quit that job. What? 6 figure? He gonna have to drag me and pull. God I ain't quit yet. Why you ain't quit? 6 figures. And he said the Lord told him, you're going to work for me. Work for you? I know people working for you now and ain't doing too good.
That on him, not on him.
But he, finally he obeyed. And the Lord blessed him. And he's pastor and doing real successful. But he struggled with it. He struggled with it. He struggled with it. I'm being honest. He struggled with it. The thing about it is, he's not coming to you with that because you are not there. You're not there. I'm being honest with you. You're not there. Soon as you say, I put in my 2 weeks notice, I'll be quit. The next day after you quit, you worrying about where the money gonna come from. You're not there. So we don't need to do it.
No, you don't need to do it. Don't put the same to
And now you're going to come here and tell me, well, God told me to do it, blah, blah, blah. Well, why are you talking to me? Talk to him. You said he told you. What do you want me to do? Well, I need you to pray and go in and find out what God is asking. Because go back to your job. Go back to your job. Yeah, go back to your job. Go back. See if they hire you back. Go back. Because right now you're stressing. And God ain't going to bring you no place and put you in confusion and stress and all that. It's going to cause problem in your home. It's going to cause problem in your body. Go back to the job until your faith is developed. Because right now you listen to the voice of the devil. And you know he going to play you. He going to play you. That's just it. He going to come after you. You say God told you that, I'm coming after you. Because God going to let him. Okay, God, go. Go ahead, sing. God going to let him. He going to challenge your mind. He going to talk to you. He going to shut doors. I'm telling you, doors that were open today, tomorrow they'll be closed. But you have to pray your way through. One lady, this is what she told me. She said, I don't want to, she might listen. She did it. She opened the door. And once she opened the door, what she thought was good became bondage. Because I'm teaching you. First off, you should have been led by me. Because I'm teaching you. But you're still led by your flesh. See, some people got this thing to where, but you just got to be good, nice. Well, good. Let them come stay. I promise you this. If you let the devil come stay, the peace you had in there is going to vacate. Because if you back up for a moment, they're going to take over the atmosphere. And when you are not there, the spirit in the person is working to change the whole atmosphere. And the only way you can capture or change the flow is you have to go back to what worked before they came. So I told a lady, I said, listen, start back playing worship music in your home, from the TV to the radio, whatever. Start playing worship music and start praying in the house. And watch and see how long the devil stays. It's going to become uncomfortable. It's going to change you, or you're going to change it. And the Bible said, greater is he that is in you than the devil that's in that person. It's going to change you, or you're going to change it. So you have to take back the atmosphere. If you don't, the enemy is going to control the atmosphere. And now what you have done is, you are a believer, but you have invited hell into your home. That's just like Christians who are Christians, but yet going to hell. You want peace. The Bible said we ought to be led by the spirit of peace. If there's confusion in my decision making, I need to stop. If I'm confused about the decision that I'm going to make and I don't have peace, stop. God speaks in so many ways. No one will have an excuse to say, well, God said, people in other countries and stuff, that they've never heard the gospel. And there are other people in the United States that'll tell you they've never heard the gospel, but they died. And God said, there's still no excuse. There's no excuse. What is no excuse? Because I place in the heart of man, I place in the heart of every human being that is born in this world the eternal love of God, the eternal goodness of God. So you know, by looking at the creation, you know there's a God. And when people die, they tell me and you, Sister Pam, they tell us, God ain't real. We don't know God. God don't exist. All this stuff, y'all fought 7 of us. And then they know. Because when you stand before him, you can never say, I didn't know you was real. Yes, you knew I was real. In here, you knew I was real. You knew I was real. Now that brings me to what I really want to tell you guys. Let me tell you something. Some things are going to happen. It's going to be supernatural. I was talking to Schubert Tuesday? When that was? Monday. And I said something and I didn't realize what I was saying until I said it. And then when I said it, I felt the power of God just come over me. Let me tell you something. When the Bible talks about the wealth of the wicked and how God is going to transfer wealth and different things like that, he does things supernaturally. Supernaturally. Because he's a supernatural God. The same way that God uses demonic spirits in here to speak through a person is the same way, and it doesn't matter who it is, saved or unsaved. It doesn't matter who it is. Because God can use anybody. He used that unsaved person to get you the job. What? Yes, he did. You're a believer. That's an unbeliever. Why did the unbeliever hire you when light and darkness have nothing in common? But why did that person hire you? Because of God. Because in any other, they wouldn't have done it. Why would the the Egyptian, give to the Israelites their wealth? First thing God told, he instructed Moses. And then he told him, tell the people to go and borrow from their neighbors, which were the Egyptians. He gave them instructions. Go and borrow. Now, because God said go and borrow, he had already dealt with the heart of the lender. Not only did he deal with the heart of the lender, he was going to talk through the lender. Just like demonic spirit speaks to people, and when they get through, the people didn't know what they say. Just like God speaks through you, and there are times when you get through. What did I say? That had to have been God. And we sitting there saying, oh, that was God. And you wondering, what happened? Same thing with that. It is supernatural. It is supernatural. On their own, they are not going to want to do it. But with God speaking through them, they ain't got no choice. With God speaking through them, they don't have a choice. See, he can open doors and close doors. He can open doors and close doors. If they had not gone to the Egyptian and borrowed, they wouldn't have got nothing. Could you imagine going to someone, and let me tell you how this thing, how it came to me. Because I was wondering, wait a minute, God. Now you got to raise up somebody who has $1 million to give me the $1 million. But there are so much millionaires in the earth. What do you mean raise up somebody? All he needs to do is speak through someone. Now, there was an individual that had done something that happened, and the individual was in a situation. And the very individual of the person that this thing happened to, one of the person's loved ones, the individual got in the courtroom and testified on the man's behalf. When the man was supposed to go to prison. The individual didn't know what he was saying. He just testified and spoke all the good thing about the man and why the man should not be. And the judge and the jury heard it. Okay, good. He's not guilty. Well, he was. So I told him this, listen, don't go to that person and thank that person for what that person did. This was God's doing. But I didn't understand all of it. This was God doing. God spoke to the person. The person didn't know what they said. He sees the person. Out of stupidity, ignorance, he goes to the person. I just want to thank you. And God is saying, no, you should have been thanking me. So he goes to the person. I just want to thank you for testifying. And the individuals went off on him. You did this to you did this. You need to be. Now he's confused. I told you not to go to this person because it wasn't the person. See, when God used these people, all he wants is a body, a vessel. The vessel can be, listen, clean or unclean. All God wants is a vessel. If he spoke through a donkey, he can speak through a human. And we've proven that. All he wants is that. See, he know how to transfer it to you. And I had to, wait a minute, I'll say yes. I'll write the check for you because the person has the money. And the person can never say his hands didn't do it. Because it's your signature. Don't go back and thank the person. Thank God for what he has done. See, that's our problem. We listen. We give honor where honor to do, but you give honor to the wrong people. And that's our thing. We be giving honor to the wrong people. That's our thing. And that messes us up. Messes us up. We giving honor to the wrong people. And God has said, no, give honor where honor to do. Give honor to me. Who? Who? And we miss it. Because we don't understand what God is actually doing. He's going to transfer it. He's going to transfer it. He's going to transfer it. Remember, he's the one that gave them the power to get it. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. One thing I can say, I didn't steal it. You gave it. Freely gave it. I didn't steal it. Now when I find myself going back to the person, I'm going to be in trouble. Because I'm trying to justify something that I really doubt about when God did it. When I got this thing, the power of God came on me. It was not the people. We look at, because of the plagues, because of the death, because of this, the people were so in distort and all this stuff. You can be in distort or you want to come out and ask me for some silver and all this stuff, and you ain't getting nothing. Go. No. I'm hard. I'm mad. And you come in and ask me for gold and stuff like that, get out of my house. You know, because you look at this and you think the people were so distorted and confused. They didn't know what was going on. Yes, the plagues were there. Different things that happened. And they were still going through it. When they came to themselves and looked around and realized what was gone, then we got to go get this stuff. There's no way. No, these people got. But if God didn't give it to them, he didn't have to destroy the Israelites. He didn't have to destroy them because the Israelite would have been thieves. They stole it. So, listen, the Egyptian had a right to it. But God gave it to them. And now they're coming back and they want interest. They not only want you back, they want their goods back. Because they consider you also as their goods. And God said, I've set you free. I have set you free. I have set you free. This day, the plague, the condition that the Egyptian had you in, the mindset that they had you in, this day is broken. What are you talking about? The person that you used to be on the other side of what you just came through, you are not that person anymore. You are not that person anymore. You struggled to get ahead. You struggled for things. Your parents, your forefathers struggled for things. But you and I are born in the right season and the right time. You can't be in the end time and there's not a transfer. There has to be a transfer. You can't be in the latter days and there isn't a transfer. There has to be a transfer. And that's what God is doing. And he's going to transfer it. And he's going to do it. And he's going to do it. The things that you struggled to get. The things that you struggled to get. Do you know how, now it was God on both sides. Because I know how some of us are, we got so much pride. I ain't going in that church. So much pride. Now, it didn't say some didn't go. But I promise you, some were afraid. Just like you and I feel that piece on the line. Pride. Pride. Yeah, pride. That's what it is. I'm better than that. Pride. I'm not going to, how much you say? Pride. I'm not going to ask people their good sister, Jeff. I'm not going to ask them. Pride. Fear of what is going to be said. So God had to empower the Israelites and he had to empower the Egyptians. So in other words, what God was saying is, I'm going to talk to myself. And I'm into both of you. I'm in you as my children. And I'm in them, so I'm going to be talking to me. And they're going to give what I need. Because in the wilderness, you don't need this stuff. But God needed for what he's going to do. And he just didn't force the hand. He told them to go out. You have not because you ask not. What are you talking about? You have not because you ask. Now, this is the way he showed me. I'm going to deal with their heart. And I'm going to speak to them and they're going to give it to me. And they ain't going to know why they're doing it. But they're going to know afterward they did it. He gave me this. He gave me this. You go through scriptures. And even your life today. When we was talking about, listen to key words. Listen to key words. Listen to key words. You go in the dealership, wherever you're going, wherever, and the people say, oh yeah, you're in the right place at the right time. This God. This God. You walk in and start telling me, oh, we've been looking for you. You've been looking for me? And you now trying to talk your way out of a conversation that God want to have as to who you are. You ain't been looking for me. Because blah, 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 you're going to do it. No. Stop and think. They really were looking for me. God had already made the way clear. Everything was timing. Now he's giving me another chance. That's how we are. When the guy said, you're in the right place at the right time, what do you want to pay for it? What? I just got through speaking those words. Yeah. Listen to key words. But I never associated with this. And if God can use them to say that, he can use them to give you what you have been believing him for. Because the wicked have the wealth. They display it all the time. And God want to get it into your hands. You ain't got to jump through no hoop. All you have to do is what he told his disciples. The first thing you have to do is you have to believe on the one in whom the Father has sent. If you can't believe, you're going to struggle with receiving. You're going to struggle with getting the thing. Because you're struggling with believing who he say he is. I believe all things belong to him. And I believe as a son, listen, I inherit it. I inherit it. I believe, listen, I don't just believe, I know. I know when I command things, it comes, it goes, because I understand how Jesus did things. When he tells something to go, it went. When he tells something to come, it comes. That's the way it works with him. That's the way it worked with heaven. It works like that with the kingdom of heaven. Listen, if you are royal, and you are priests, and you are kings, the Bible said he is King of kings and Lord of lords. That means somebody is a king and somebody is a Lord. Because you can't be king of those things and Lord of those things if somebody weren't that. So if he can speak as the king he was, I can speak as the king I am. If you start speaking as a person of royal authority, Solomon's another prime example. It was back then, listen, if you went to see a king, you better bring goods. You didn't come before them empty-handed. You didn't come before them empty-handed. And Jesus is King of kings. But many people, listen, outside of those wise men, those shepherds, they came bearing gifts. We came with an inward gift. So we came bearing gifts. You came bearing gifts because of who he is. And if he, listen, Sister Deborah, if he accepted theirs, he'll accept yours. And the same way they came bearing gifts for him, they'll come bearing gifts for you. And not even knowing why they're doing it. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what kind of wise man you are or whatever, but God dealt with them as to who Jesus was. And they went. And they went. Listen, a king is born. Listen, we saw it start. And they went bearing gifts. Why do you think people that begin to walk in their calling, so many people give to them? See, the more you deny who you are and run away from walking into your calling, the people that God has touched the heart to bring gifts to you, they're held up. I got to go. Okay, get this right here. Get the Sister Deborah, get this right here. The Bible said, it talks about the child is born. A king is given. All these different things. A child is born. That child is a king. That child is a member of the royal family. The son of God, the daughter of God, whatever, the son of God. Now, when you were born again, a child is born. A child is born. A child is born. A child is born. Listen, and the government ruling, reigning, is something he gave you. He placed you in territory to rule. And those hearts that he touched to give to you is going to give. The problem is, you want somebody else to be it. That's what you want somebody else to be it. You want somebody else to be it. You want somebody to come into your life and direct and all this stuff and take over, and they don't know what you know. Well, I follow like a little lamb. And you know more than what the person you're getting ready to marry. A whole lot more than what the person you're getting ready to marry. You know a child is born. That's you. You know they are supposed to bring gifts. You know that. Now you miss your season of the gift giving. But God is going to bring it back. Now, listen, God touched these people's heart to give. To give to a child born in the state, in a barn. That don't prove royalty at all. But God touched their heart. Sister Deborah, people will come from countries wherever to bring to you whatever God has said. He will show them in dreams you. If God can send a person to you for marriage, he can send people to you for blessing. I'm telling you straight up. This is a fact. This is not something you... If God can send that, he can send those people. It's up to you. What do you believe? That's the problem. Well, God, I just don't understand. Just ask that question and let him explain. I promise you, when you understand it and get the... Wait a minute. I'm living beneath my privilege. Because when I was born again, a child was born. Because I'm called a child of God. When I was born, I was a baby. I had to grow. But everything that I was supposed to receive, I didn't get.
That's true. That's true. You're right. Got the birth certificate and all the proof.
But I want you to understand this now. I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. But when I was born again, he gave gifts. He deposited in me a gift. And that gift is called the Holy Ghost. He deposited that in me. And that gift will bring people from miles around for what God has placed in you. You can just settle and say, man, you know, I'm living beneath my privilege. I was trying to make things happen. When God had already caused things to happen. I'm trying to make things happen. When God is... I can't make the supernatural happen. When God already... This thing is settled. Sister Deborah, I don't care what nobody says. $1 million is not the place, is not the stopping point. I'm just believing them for $1 million. That ain't the stopping point. Because now I know who it's going to come from. No one who is a ruler, who is in, I don't care how the car goes. You can be in a position, I'll help you with this right here. Anybody that's in the, like the city thing, the city council, that you on the board, each territory that you have, or like in certain areas in the city, whatever, the county and stuff like that, there's a certain amount of money is given to you.
Yeah.
Not for you to distribute distributed the way you want to spend on you, but it is given for that district
You right. You right. Amen.
to help that district.
Amen.
And each one of them, now, over in this area right here, the lady was given $1 million. The lady took it and gave it to the library. And they built that part on the library. When it should have went here, in this area. Because she's the one that's over the territory of this area. Now God has given you a territory. The territory that you first start off with is your home. And if you can't manage it, now he gave you everything you need to manage it. If you would take heed to what's in you, to the Holy Spirit that's in you, you can manage what God has given you. Because the territory needs you. Once the need of the territory is met, other people from other areas will give.